Hey, let's talk about how your focus and not your circumstances is shaping your current experience. It's an interesting concept because anyone who's listened to me for any length of time knows that I frequently use the phrase, what you focus on, you make room for. And that is completely true. About 20 years ago, I created a diagram about the Pygmalion effect. And at the time, I understood it only as a negative concept. And so I was using it to talk about ungodly beliefs. Basically, our actions impact others' beliefs, which impacts their actions towards us, which impacts our beliefs about ourselves. And I'll show the diagram up above me while I'm talking about this. But it's a cyclical process. And so then when their actions reinforce our beliefs, then that continues us in this spiral that tends to spiral out if we're talking about negative things. Here's an example. So if I believe I am inherently unlovable, I am going to act in situations from that place of guardedness because I'm trying to protect my own heart. And unintentionally, that guardedness will come across as standoffishness, which will send the message to the people around me, do not engage. And so then people will not engage, which then reinforces my belief about myself that I am unlovable, which is, by the way, not one that I struggle with. So, but that is how that works. And so it can continue. The thing that I didn't realize is that this same principle works in reverse as well. So if I believe that what I have to say is of value and that there are people who are going to be blessed by that, then I am speaking from a place of authenticity and confidence, and then people respond to that and are engaged by that. Not necessarily the entire world, but the people that I'm intended to reach. And so those people will then connect, which reinforces my belief, hey, I have a message that's worth sharing. And so again, it can work on your behalf. And so this is where it becomes so important what your thoughts are. And so truly your thoughts create your reality. And so it is so important for you to be intentional with the stories you're telling yourself, because you so often, like, intuitively we're picking things up and then we spin it into this whole story. So for example, someone said they were going to call me back and they didn't call me back. And so I'm like, well, they must just not like me. That's not based in any sense of truth. That is me telling myself a story. And so one of the best things that you can do is assume positive intent and assume that you're missing information. And if you use those two things, and again, like, you may be right, they may be avoiding you because they don't like you, but there's no reason to become engaged in that story until you have facts to back that up. And someone not responding to you or not talking to you when they said they're going to isn't facts. That's a single point of information. What if their parent ended up in the emergency room? What if they lost power, their phone went dead, and they have no way of contacting you? There's a million other reasons. And so if you're someone who struggles with telling those negative stories to yourself, one of the tricks that I have come up with is to figure out a plausible positive alternative. So if I feel like someone is judging me and it's because of some behavior that they're doing, I might sit there and say to myself, what is another reason that they're doing this? Or fill in the blank, whatever negative feedback you feel like you're getting. Fill in the blank and come up with an alternative that is positive and tell that story to yourself until you have information that tells you otherwise. Because let's face it, like, worry does no good. Until you have all of the information, all that is wasted energy, and your energy is powerful. It is so powerful. That is your currency. So in the same way that I'm not just going to drive down the road and chuck $10,000 out the window. I mean, if I had millions and millions, maybe I would do that because that would be kind of fun to share it like that. But I'm just saying, in my current financial state, that is not what I would do. Why? Because my currency is valuable to me. And so in my current state, I would want to be intentional with how that money is spent. I would want to be intentional with how that energy is spent. And I would want to sow it wisely, invest it wisely. And so in the same way, be intentional with your energy, which is your thoughts. Your thoughts are your energy. And so what are you doing with that? What are you cultivating with that? So be intentional and just remember that, your thoughts truly create your reality.